A moment in history, the coronation of King Charles III.
God save the King!
God save the King!
Across 3 days in May, the nation celebrated the newly crowned King and Queen. At a star-studded concert, a poignant tribute from Prince William.
As my grandmother said when she was crowned, coronations are a declaration of our hopes for the future. And I know she's up there, fondly keeping an eye on us, and she'll be a very proud mother.
Also this year, Prince Harry reveals family secrets in his best-selling memoir and in evidence as he takes on the British press. And digging deep on his first official royal engagement, 5-year-old Prince Louis. May the 6th, 2023. Light rain fell as King Charles and Camilla, Queen Consort, made their way to Westminster Abbey for the first coronation in 70 years. Prime Ministers, Presidents, foreign kings and queens, as well as community and charity representatives, joined the King's own family in a ritual dating back 1,000 years.
Your Majesty, as children of the Kingdom of God, we welcome you in the name of the King of Kings.
In his name and after his example, I come not to be served, but to serve.
God save King Charles!
And then, the most sacred part of the ceremony performed behind a screen. The King, by then divested of his robes, was anointed with holy oil. Over the tunic, gold robes. And one by one, the King was presented with the coronation regalia.
Receive this all, set under the cross.
Some by representatives of different faiths. Finally, the centrepiece of the crown jewels, made from 22-carat gold, St. Edward's crown.
King of kings and Lord of lords, bless, we beseech thee, this crown.
Rejoice, rejoice, and stand.
God save the King!
God save the King!
A public declaration of support from son to father, heir to king.
I, William, Prince of Wales, pledge my loyalty to you, and faith and truth I will bear unto you, as your liege man of life and limb. So help me God.
God save the King! God save King Charles!
Watching on, family, including, on the third row, Prince Harry.
May thy servant Camilla, who wears this crown, be filled by thine abundant grace.
Completing her transformation from Camilla Parker Bowles to Queen Camilla. Waiting outside the Abbey, the Gold State coach. And more than 4,000 members of the armed services who paraded back to the palace. Prince George, who'd been a page of honour, rejoined his siblings, no doubt aware that one day it will be his coronation. And then the moment the crowds had braved the rain for. The King and Queen on the palace balcony. Overhead, a curtailed flypast due to the weather. But the Red Arrows still managed a show of red, white and blue.
The coronation ceremony was a celebration of modern Britain and its rich history. Now back in St George's Chapel, the coronation chair, which is more than 700 years old. It played a starring role here in the Abbey on the Saturday, but the festivities continued over the following 2 days, with the focus on service and community.
God save the King!
Up and down the UK, thousands of people came together to host a big coronation lunch. And popping in to sample the refreshments, some surprise royal guests. In Cranley in Surrey, the newly appointed Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh joined scouts and guides, and Sophie revealed how moving she'd found the coronation.
Did you enjoy yesterday?
Oh, wonderful. Absolutely amazing.
What time of tea is it?
Oh, wedding.
In Swindon, Princess Anne joined a community street party, handing out commemorative tins to local children. In Windsor Great Park, dropping by the celebrations, the Prince and Princess of Wales. It was chaotic and a complete contrast to the formality of the coronation. That evening, a concert fit for a king. 20,000 members of the public, including charity volunteers and NHS workers, filled the east lawn of Windsor Castle. In the royal box, Prince George and Princess Charlotte joined the family, dancing along to musical royalty. And Prince William took to the stage to pay a very personal tribute.
As my grandmother said when she was crowned, coronations are a declaration of our hopes for the future. And I know she's up there, fondly keeping an eye on us, and she'll be a very proud mother.
William talked about his father's 50 years of service, his work on the environment, the Prince's Trust, and...
perhaps most importantly of all, my father has always understood that people of all faiths all backgrounds and all communities deserve to be celebrated and supported. Pa, we are all so proud of you. And I also want to express my pride and gratitude for the millions of people who serve in the forces, in classrooms, hospital wards, and local communities. I wish I could mention you all. Your service inspires us, and tonight we celebrate you too. I commit myself to serve you all, King, country, and Commonwealth. God save the King.
Spectacular displays filled the skies above Windsor and locations across the UK, lighting up the nation long into the evening. Missing the concert, but right on target the following morning. In Slough, 5-year-old Prince Louis carried out his first official royal engagement. He and his siblings joined a scout troop supporting the Big Help Out, a nationwide drive to boost volunteer numbers which had dipped during the pandemic. Organisers estimated some 7 million people, including the Wales family, gave up a little of their time over the coronation weekend.
With the change of reign from Queen Elizabeth to King Charles came an inevitable shuffling of titles and positions within the family. And this has been the year for those members to make their new roles their own.
As Prince and Princess of Wales, William and Catherine have their roles and responsibilities largely mapped out for them. But over the past year, their priorities, away from the pomp and pageantry of their day jobs, have continued to develop.
What does home mean to you?
Home is feeling safe and protected in my own bed.
In June, Prince William launched an ambitious project which aims to show that it is possible to end homelessness. Over the next 5 years, Homewards will focus on 6 areas of the UK, putting together local action plans to, in the campaign's words, make homelessness rare, brief and unrepeated.
I first visited a homelessness shelter when I was 11 with my mother. The visits we made together left a deep and lasting impression. I met so many extraordinary people and listened to so many heartbreaking personal stories. Too many people have found themselves without a stable and permanent place to call home. So, I'm pleased to stand here today at the start of our path to ending homelessness.
Hello, Judy.
Hampton Court Palace in June and the inaugural Queen's Reading Room Festival.
Michael Redgrave playing King Lear at Stratford.
What started as a lockdown list of Camilla's 9 favourite books has grown into a global charity, as the then Duchess told writers gathered at Clarence House.
You open our eyes to others' experiences and remind us that we're not alone. Human beings have always needed the connection of literature, its wisdom as well as its sheer escapism. In today's challenging climate, we need it more than ever.
The Princess of Wales demonstrated her musical talents this year for Eurovision. But her focus has largely been in places like this. Described as her life's work, Catherine continues to highlight the importance of the early years. Shaping Us was launched in January, a campaign described as being about raising public awareness rather than politics or policy.
People often ask me why I focus my time on early childhood. Well, the answer is because I care deeply about making a positive difference in helping the most vulnerable and supporting those who are most in need.
Here, there's lots of people who give up their time, and there are lots of volunteers who come and help out.
And joining Mum at Christmas, her own 3 children, helping out at a baby bank.
If you think about what you would like to play with.
Yep, this is a big guy.
A spectacular backdrop for a dragon boat race. Prince William, in the white t-shirt, never one to shy away from competition. He was in Singapore, along with stars of the stage and screen, who walked a green rather than red carpet to promote the Earthshot Prize. Created by the Prince and now in its third year. It aims to reward and promote those innovators and entrepreneurs who are actively finding solutions to environmental challenges. These, the real stars of the show. Before the ceremony, the Prince spent time with this year's nominees, 5 of whom would win £1 million apiece to scale up their ideas.
We've seen an incredible bunch of people come through again, and I think from the first year we can quantify a bit more of the impact. And in the first year alone, we've managed to directly impact positively 1.5 million people. We protected about 2.1 million hectares of ocean, upcycled 35,000 tonnes of waste, 40,000 tonnes of CO2, and we're going to do more.
Arriving in Dubai, King Charles has championed environmental issues for decades, and there were concerns he may have felt compelled to take a back seat on the issue when he ascended the throne. Instead, he now has an even greater platform from which to speak, and intends to continue doing so. His speech to global leaders, which opened the UN Climate Summit, was blunt and challenged those present to act now.
In 2050, our grandchildren won't be asking what we said. They will be living with the consequences of what we did or didn't do. So if we act together to safeguard our precious planet, the welfare of all our people will surely follow.
In July, the coronation of King Charles III was marked in Edinburgh. He was presented with the honours of Scotland at St Giles Cathedral.
By the symbol of this crown, we pledge our loyalty, in trusting that you reign as our King in the service of all your people.
In receiving this crown, I so promise by God's help.
The themes which underpinned the service at Westminster Abbey were in evidence here too: community and inclusivity.
We unite with people of all faiths and beliefs in thanksgiving.
Not my king! Not my king!
Outside the calm and tranquility of the cathedral, just as had been the case in London, there were noisy protests by those who would wish to end the monarchy.
Since the passing of the late Queen, the Republican movement has become more vocal and more visible. But in this coronation year, the most personal attacks on family members were contained within the pages of a best-selling royal memoir.
Prince Harry headed back home to California as soon as the service at the Abbey had finished. His relationship with the family further strained by the frenzy around Spare, published at the beginning of the year. Bookshops opened at midnight, and although copies had been accidentally leaked the previous week in Spain, the extraordinary level of detail Harry revealed about himself and his family guaranteed this would fly off the shelves. Translated into 16 languages, a global audience lapped up intimate details. The most explosive, a physical altercation between him and his brother, laying bare the rift between them. According to Harry, one of the lowest points came at Kensington Palace in 2019. William is said to have called Meghan difficult, rude and abrasive. Things escalated, and according to the book, he, meaning William,
grabbed me by the collar, ripping my necklace, and he knocked me to the floor. I landed on the dog's bowl, which cracked under my back, the pieces cutting into me. I lay there for a moment, dazed, then got to my feet and told him to get out. Come on, hit me. You'll feel better if you hit me. Do what? Come on, we always used to fight. You'll feel better if you hit me. No.
Their father largely escaped criticism. The same cannot be said for Queen Camilla. According to the book, Harry and William asked their father not to marry her, fearing she would become their wicked stepmother. Private family moments were revealed, including just after the funeral of Prince Philip in 2021, when the then Prince Charles allegedly said this to his sons: "Please, boys, don't make my final years a misery." His late mother, Diana, is a constant presence in the book, his love for her and the struggle to cope after her death. Another recurring theme was his antipathy towards the British press. In court case after court case, he's demonstrated his determination to seek retribution for wrongs he believes certain newspapers have made against him.
Love you, Harry.
He accused Mirror Group newspapers of using unlawful methods to obtain stories about him, including phone hacking. And 6 months after appearing in the witness box, a judge agreed, and Prince Harry won £140,000 in damages. He described the result as vindicating and affirming, but said the mission continues. Harry's visits to the UK this year were brief. His wife Meghan stayed away. The nearest she came to visiting the UK was a trip to Germany to support her husband's initiative, the Invictus Games, which this year were held in Düsseldorf. The year ended in the same way it had begun, with controversy over the Sussexes and a royal book. Ever since Meghan publicly discussed an alleged conversation between Harry and his family over the colour of their, at the time, unborn baby's skin, accusations of racism had been levelled at the royal family. According to a Dutch translation of Endgame, the royals involved in the conversation were the King and the Princess of Wales. Neither the palace nor the Sussexes chose to offer any comment.
Happy birthday, happy birthday.
In November, King Charles reached his 75th birthday, an age at which most people would be trying to slow down. But when you're establishing yourself as monarch, both here and abroad, taking it easy isn't really an option.
It's always fun to have a look.
First on the travel schedule was Germany. In France, he became the first member of the royal family to address the Senate.
Nous nous sommes battus côte à côte.
And in November, the royal couple made their first visit since the coronation to a Commonwealth country, Kenya. It was a warm welcome, but here, as in many parts of the world, there are sensitivities. It was 70 years since an uprising against the then British colonial rulers was brutally crushed.
The wrongdoings of the past are a cause of the greatest sorrow and the deepest regret.
Back in Britain, President Biden dropped by on his way to a NATO summit. And the changing of the guard, Gangnam style, in honour of the state visit of the President and First Lady of the Republic of Korea. In November, the state opening of Parliament, and one of the most significant duties in the royal calendar.
My lords and members of the House of Commons, it is mindful of the legacy of service and devotion to this country set by my beloved mother, the late Queen, that I deliver this, the first King's speech in over 70 years.
Royal salute! Present! Arms!
The King has attended many Trooping the Colour military parades over the decades, but in June, for the first time, the official birthday being celebrated was his.
Shoulder! Arms!
2023 has largely been about showing the British people how King Charles intends to reign. But he's likely to be travelling further afield in 2024. He is also head of state in 14 other realms, including Canada and Australia. and it's been more than a decade since any have received a visit from their monarch. This was a royal year dominated by the coronation. Father, son and grandson, all aware of their roles and responsibilities. Close family united in their support for the new king.